Let's just see how things go here. Fix that little bit of an error with the last state change. Sorry, the initial state view here that we had issues with, comparing that and the other. So there's a couple of things that actually had where the errors in the test. One of them was where the room added the state was an object with a rooms property. But now we've removed that, and so that the state is just exactly what it is. One of the things that we do want to have is obviously get this thing done via HTTP in case there's an error for getting the events, right? Here we won't get this throws an error. We'll get that ugly white screen instead of our custom page for errors. So we want to get the state do that instead. And of course we don't want these extra things there, so we have rooms, which is exactly what we want. Now we'll have to probably correct some things that we have an issue with. I know my camera is making me look so white. Sure what the problem is here. Let's see what my properties are for my sources for my webcam here. Properties. Resolution, brightness, contrast, saturation, sharpness, white balance. No, that's not moving at all. Exposure time, pan, tilt, focus, zoom. Okay. Well, it looks like we lost the camera. Do these things just keep breaking on me? It's pretty crazy. Looks like another camera's bit the dust. Weird. Let me see if I can plug it back in and see if it comes back to life. Very strange. Okay, well, camera is dead. Or maybe. Not many of these. Guess I saw this thing die. All right, let's try. Okay, there it is. That seemed to have worked. I don't know what the hell was happening with it. But plugging it back in fixed it. So anyway, sorry about that. All right, we're back to basically improving everything we're doing here to a new set of a new set of patterns. Yeah, conference name state view. No, we don't want that. And Control Z. Const state equals get state via HTTP. Yes. We want that. I think. Depending what the conference state view is. We return just the name. Okay. Oh yeah, that was right here. We keep things together. I forgot. Yeah, so if that works, that works. Hopefully that's okay. We have set dates. That's interesting that we have these set dates for a post, set dates for that. Okay. Anyway, sure we'll have a lot of things to fix when we actually try to run the thing. Again, some of the cool things that we ended up doing, improving our test harness here to actually set the thing we're testing right inside our test suite, which is kind of good. We get rid of some of these inline tests because in this way we are comparing properties to properties. So we've gone all through that. These are good, I think. Yeah, that's fine. I'm trying not to change any of the logic for the business logic, any of that. Just trying to get the infrastructure done. So any kind of optimization I try to do at that level. We're trying not to really change anything in terms of the implementation anywhere. I did a search replace for the event meta type. That's why we have all these extra failing tests now. Because we have a failing of a reading type. So, we got to go see if those tests are something that we could fix very quickly, because we have those are fine. I think those are ones that we fixed just now. We're also going to remove all of this and use our helper functions for this type of stuff. So actually, let's just go back up and make sure that we're taking care of all the HTTP stuff here properly. So whenever we have a post or get, we should be really using change state via HTTP. And the reason I don't like this wording here, this is this is basically having a wrapper for calling this within the express pipelining of how you can pass on requests to the next thing and how you can catch an error and then just send it to the error page. So that's kind of how we're going to get some nicer control of error conditions, and especially not having the generic response for an error. And we're going to have a error page, which we have, and we styled it to kind of be nice to our eyes and be dark if we have a dark theme, which we do. And I try to save your eyes by doing this all in a dark theme. So the other thing we have to do, we forgot to do the summary, right? So we're doing the summary for our commands, which is kind of like when we run it, we want to make sure that, you know, here, change state via HTTP, set conference name. We have, the name, and then we have the meta type, but we don't have the summary. Oh, yes, we do. In this kind, we do have a summary here. I don't want to do this at the test level. This is really about just our own infrastructure helpers. We don't have any business logic that is tied to this extra information. This is kind of our own nice to have for showing some summary information and the name of the file that this gets serialized to, so we don't have to keep opening up files just to see what event we have in the directory. Sorry about the volume here. I think I have it a little bit too high. Bring it down a bit. I've just too close to the mic. Okay, so that's good. We don't have to worry about summary information for that. Onto this confirmation. This is how we get state via HTTP, correct? And we could have this as get state via HTTP. And, you know, might as well just grab all that. We'll X that and just put that right in here. It is a really dumb thing that we're doing here, so we don't want a lot of real estate. Nope, this way. And I don't know why it's doing that. Why does it want it as a separate thing? Would this not work? Should work. Giving us string back, and we're just wrapping this up for our model to be thrown back to the view. So there's another. I think we should concentrate on fixing all of this up first. How things are done. Again, here we have change state to HTTPS, and then we redirect, just correct. So we have the conference named event. So we have the event part gotta be gone, and that's gotta be gone. And like, do I really want these things in here? No, I don't. I don't want these extra console logs. So conference name, we get the name. That's correct. Set dates. Change state via HTTP. Set dates. So we have set dates here. We have meta type, and we don't have. One thing that we are missing is the summary. Where we can say maybe from to. Actually, that's good. That's actually fine. The summary will tell us what we need here, which is good. Kind of want to move the meta to the end of the yeah, we kind of want to move this meta to the end. So that we want the most important information at the beginning and the meta stuff after. That looks better. Yeah, here where we don't have any business logic, we probably should. If we set dates that aren't one a start date that's later than the end date. For now, this is good. I don't want to add tests or anything for that. In fact, we shouldn't really need tests. Could have const dates valid, have invalid range that. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we throw that. So I think that's pretty good. In terms of history, we really don't need to care about it, which is good. So that's just a little bit of that's. And I want this error to always have exception. Well, I don't know. What do we have up there for our yeah, so that's fine. We have kind of like plain English here. We don't need any like exception word at the beginning of the sentence. That should be okay. That's an easy validation. Doesn't involve the history. It's just checking on server side. Probably have it on the you probably would just want to have it on the client side as well. If someone wants to hurt themselves and make a post that does that, we could remove this and just allow them to hurt themselves, but whatever. It's really just info, not that important. That's why I didn't have it in here. So that is okay, but we want to I don't know if we have, yeah. What do we have? Return start date, end date. I don't know if we have. I think that's all we have. Yeah, set dates. That's good. That word event is fine here. That's just the name of variable. Edit in referencing. That's good. A lot of these things can just be liners when they're really stupid like this. Should read like a sentence. We're rendering this, getting the state, the catch, whatever we want. Air handling type. Better later on. I don't know. So here we can remove the rooms. Get this. Here. Get E. Yep. And this is quite short. So I mean, I don't mind making these one-liners because it should read like that. And in case when we thing line. That's good. Yep. Yeah, rooms just renders the rooms. Everything is handled in terms of catching errors for not being able to connect to the back end to get the events. That's fine. Yeah. Might as well do it here. Just get rid of extra stuff because I kind of don't want question. Edit it. Really just line. Yeah. And we don't really care about this. I can do it underscore and just R. I think that works. So that's good. State view is okay here. We really were experimenting with that. Now we can get rid of those. Some of these are the one-liners for sure. Some of these aren't. Can be made a little bit more succinct. They read like a sentence. Same with this. That's really don't like that extra room being used up. So that should do it. That looks a lot more concise and readable. It's not sprawling all over the place. I mean, I definitely would be up for doing something like this because, you know, this is such a dumb thing to do. You're adding a very simple operation, just pushing that. Yeah, into the collection of that. You're renaming, you're finding things. Okay, maybe not a one-liner, fine. You know, even though that we're using this variable just one time, you know, we're using it twice, so it's okay. This is fine. Whatever. Here we have a better syntax for the tests, right? Now let's try to correct this because I think we have add time slots. No, room state view and conference name, room state view. So yeah, we're looking at all the rooms, and then time slot change, time slot state change. So here, so that works. This is where, again, we're using the pushing of the event and the calling of the add room. All of that was replaced with this, and then this. Of course, we don't need any of this other stuff now. That's nice. So these all of these URLs now are very, very easy to understand, and can definitely change it to row like this. Add room, we can move the meta property down to the end. Also get rid of the timestamp. Oops. Also get rid of the timestamp. Same go. Thing we are missing is our summary. Have the room name there. That's good enough. Summary. That's cool. We know that it's gonna throw a new room exists, but here we have const exists. Fine. So we had some tests for this. I don't think we do. Yeah, we just had the state things. We didn't bother testing this, so that's okay. That looks good. You know, one single statement in an if clause. I don't want the extra braces there. That's fine. So I hope I get through all of the reformatting of these tests here. We have a test function, which is great. This state, and we have purpose. So here's so this rooms thing seems to be fine here. That's where we got to last. Let's just see with the latest changes if we screwed up any more tests. Anything that used to work that's no longer working? Nope. We're still at this add time slot. Or wait a second. Room state view. Oh yeah. So these work because we support both ways of working properly now. But we can also do purpose. Do one room should be returned when okay. And according to this, our implementation, we should be doing, instead of having to check the length and all that other stuff, we should be able to, you know, there's a state rooms here, which is interesting. And that should be okay. So this has an object with rooms in it. Okay. And this returns just that. So it's really just returning nothing but this really. So I think we need to just be careful about what happens because we're not accessing the room state view. It just gets that. We don't need to wrap anything here. So state.rooms is not something we would have had to do. We have to make sure that these objects are equal structure, and they were not. So get rid of that and just see if this, look how much nicer that is. So I think we're still good for all those tests passing. Yeah. So one room should be returned. Great. We have our progress marker in this timeline. Great. So I think I like this format much better. All this stuff is really leftovers from the traditional unit testing TDD, where you have ad hoc, way too much ad hoc type of testing, which doesn't give you a good cadence. It's really hard to rein people in to do things one way versus just having solution kind of dictate the structure, which I think is incredibly powerful. So we'll do the same thing here. We'll do a purpose. We'll Z that because like give me purpose. Okay, so it should result in that, and then just complaining because of this remaining stuff here. Right? Okay, that's good. So here we had 15 passing, so we should see no difference. Oh no, we killed this one. Oh, because we have this idea of having the rooms, but we remember that we actually return at this higher level. That. Now we should be back at 50. Yes, that worked. You know, the other thing that I'd like to do here is just to move this meta stuff to the end. Well, while we're here. It's just more legible this way. Get rid of the meta stuff to the end. Here. Remove this. I think we brace that's missing. Bring up the braces. Drag them. That's good. Front. And then do that. Off. Good. Pretty easy that we're dealing with these types of events, so I don't want the out of the way. Usually by the data in here, you should be able to get a clue as to which event you're talking about. Like for example here, having old name, new name. Gives you a clue that you're talking about renaming. The state again is just the array. We don't need an object wrapping it. Kind of a wrapping, unwrapping. It's just superfluous info here. Oops, I did one too many things, and then this is not indented correctly. Do we have a problem with the event? State, good, and then no, yeah, we have an extra bracket here which we need. That and purpose. It's using the same statement that before, and now we can just delete our test. Doing way too much out of time here. So 15 passing, still at 15 passing, so we're still good. Notice how much shorter this whole thing is getting. Here's another instance where we can fit here. So that looks good. Again, let's move the meta data to end. Here. It's good. Don't want the AI to do too much. I think I'm still thinking I might make too much of a mistake. Wait for things like the purpose written out explicitly. Renamed room should. Yeah, it looks correct. Okay, it kind of did that, but it kind of didn't do it. Left the remnants of the string. So, oh, you know, I wish JetBrains had continued evolve along with AI, because they're doing a better job mixing this AI stuff with what they had with the AST. good. Oh, yeah. It's getting a little bit too zealous of trying to change enough for me, but I mean, okay, let's go for it. Again, it's retaining too much of the old function we no longer need. I don't know if I zapped too much there. Looked like it. I think that's correct because we don't have, yeah, the last test and the state test doesn't have an event. There's nothing to set up. So this is correct. But I'd rather, I think, make these changes manually myself because I don't know if formatting will need here. And so here we go. That's an event that's on its own. Might as well bring it to one line here. This state needs to be just the collection, the array, I mean. Here we need this. Why is it giving me? It's annoying. And I think we're good for the indentation. That's the only problem here. Indents to track. That's a comma that's missing here. It. Okay. So that is done. I think we should still have the 15 tests passing. We don't. We made a mistake. 237. We have a problem with the comma. And we have one failing. Is not good. Did we delete a test? No, we need to have 15. So the last one's not working. Room deleted, CS2. Okay. Room name. I wonder what the error is. Unexpected, probably just a typo. Should be equal to main hall 20, but was, for some reason it's not. Why is it treating it? Should be, this. State is this, state is this. Deleted. There's a problem here with room deleted. Splice deleted. One. That's interesting. How is that? Why was this not an error before? should not be in set. Okay. Yeah, so the previous state was this. And if we have a room deleted event, okay, so this one is so let's make a new chat and see what it says. I think it's that stupid splice thing. We want to remove that. So let's see that. And have splice. But why is this serializing to something else? Room name, room added 300. Okay, how does this go? So we have an event like this. Our state is nothing because there's no previous steps. Right? That looks good. So the previous event was adding CS300, correct? Should have CS300. Okay, this shouldn't cast, but it does. Okay, so we have another issue, and that is, I'm gonna change that to 1. Run it again. Equal to main hall, blah, 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 but was whatever. Why is this having a different output here? Our test runner has something. So that gives me a red flag here. So it is in our state view tests. They go stringify results and state should be, oh, JSON stringify result. This should be JSON stringify. Okay, good catch. So now this this failure should now have a proper reporting. I think that might have caused me an error before. So should equal to main hull 301, but was 300. So okay, yeah. So that's good. That's done here. So let's correct that back to what it's supposed to be. And we're back to everything passing up to that point, and we can move on to the next thing. So that's good. It's good. We're using the get HTTP stuff for that. Things are looking a lot more tidy. I'm gonna fold this test down. change state here. We did this exception here. So adding room has the summary, time slots, state view. So this needs to have the HTTP or get state via HTTP. Time slots view, it knows to all that, so that is good. Again, this is pretty dumb, so we're going to make it a one-liner. That's better. Again, I don't care about the request. So good enough. And all of this is such a cruft. Find better syntax with fewer things. Put there. Okay, and then we have this add time slot. Do we have, yes, we have a new error. And time, okay, time slot already exists. I think we want fields exception time. Required fields. That's where we throw that. Correct. And again, I think we have just too much room for these stupid helper things. So I really want this to be line. Time to minutes. We kind of know what that's doing. All of this required fields is not required either. So this is a good example of where we have multiple exceptions. But if we were testing this, didn't have it in the reference to this function, add time slot, we'd have to have some way to map back the exceptions. No longer need. Order, so that's good. Overlapping, I think we have that. Okay, so it's quite good at doing this. Pretty happy with that. Let's clean up a little bit. Here, what that is. We know what that is. Yeah, we don't need these braces. It's just a single statement. That's good. And then same thing here. Need all this extra real estate being eaten up. Obviously overlap is looking for here. We could lump that together, but I really enough complexity here to not do that. Yeah, here we have a problem where we have the meta stuff here. So first of all, we don't want to get the timestamp. Unnecessary. Then summary, we need And why do we have the name in here? What do we have the name for? Really want a name? Time slots? Add a time slot. Okay, so here we have the add a time slot. Time slots. What is the time slots post? Oh, it's here. It should be higher. Shouldn't be here. Might have been one of our merges. Well, X, I like to have the function above the testing stuff. So we kind of want to see exactly what's being invoked by our so add time slot is called here. And why is there a name for the time slot? I guess we do have a name on the time slot. Did I erase that? No. I guess we just call them slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, or whatever. But the spam. I just drop Twitch. Honestly, worth it. Yeah, we definitely don't need timestamp. I don't know if we even need a actually we do need a command doing that. But we don't need all this try stuff. 2, 8. No, not const state. It would be state. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, all this stuff disappears, and we just do the redirect time slots. Correct, and then we don't need any of this other stuff. And then, of course, we move the command in body this and get rid of the rest of the stuff here and then shrink it down. Why not? Okay, that's much better. Change state VHTP, add the time slot, and yeah. And so now add the time slot. We have 3 types of errors that can be thrown here, which is good. Interesting set of tests. One of the things that we need to do is, of course, move the meta. Yeah, we don't need we don't need the event in here. Tape in here. Summaries there. Could put it on 2 lines with the meta stuff on the 2nd line. So summary, start time, end time, name. You can do it backwards, whatever. I think it's fine like that. That can stick together with that code. It's part of the same thing. So yeah, we have another check. So we have our 3 validations here. Where we have the required fields, we have the order, and we have not overlapping. Of course, we could also add in some other stuff like making sure that we don't have an existing, we're not naming things the same time slots. Although, why not? We can just have a generic name in each one. I'll do. So yeah, so here we go. That should be okay. That's going to give us a nice summary here for when we actually see these events get written to disk. And now, of course, we have the add time slot and the time slot change. So we have another another test to redo here. So get rid of that. Do the test function time slot. That's correct. The we had another comment here, but we don't. Go up and push the episode. It's all done up. I just gotta push it up to YouTube, and you'll get it on Spotify and all the places. So it should be out pretty soon as soon as I'm done with this testing, all these testing shenanigans. So okay, we also have this event name here. Not good. This test data looks okay. We don't need a timestamp. We also have the meta. We don't need the summary here. Testing. We're looking at what it gets serialized as on disk. Get rid of that. The other thing we can do is obviously make it a little bit thinner here in terms of look like a little bit of space saved here. I think that looks better. The command again also does this. And this way we can put everything onto online, which will do for us. And of course we have that exact same terminology here. And then I want to do a comma and manually remove these lines myself. Right. And it's so nice the testing with events that you're not needing any custom logic for the asserts. You're not. All I really need is assert equal and iterate over the properties, and that's it. So yeah, this is a much nicer way to test because you're not could go on. We don't need a command here. Oh, sorry, we do. I don't want to do too much. This is doing a little too much. Don't know if it'll destroy stuff. Do one section at a time. Okay, good. That's what I wanted. I'll delete the rest of self. I want you to rename that function purpose first. Fine. Trust. We'll do syntax, but that was okay. Has the command, has all that. Now I think we did a lot of changes, so let's just see how much we fixed. So we have 17 passing now, which is good. So we should be in the middle of this thing with just one test overlapping. Yeah, the overlapping stuff. So this is run with expected error, which now I forget how we do this. But first of all, we don't have an exception type here. So come on, you know what it is. Here we go. Perfect. Yeah, and then we don't need the assertion rejected. So we know that we have so an exception exists here. The test purpose is here. We have the command that will fail, right? It's overlapping these previous ones, and that says it beautifully. That's exactly what we need. And again, a little bit of too much white space for my liking here. Could probably shrink those down, but I'll just let it live for now. Time slot state view. Time slot state view really should actually be down here. Gonna generate, stop hallucinating. And we'll move the getter to be next to where we use the state view. And that's good. Living next to what it's calling, so it's easy to find. I think that's okay. Run things again. Did we fix that last one? 17 tests passed. Oh, yikes. Reading type. Okay, pressing tab something has destroyed something. How do we ruin a test up here? Honestly, what do we do? Name for session. To-do list. Oh, sorry, we're up here. So that last one failed. Overlapping time slot. Should throw time slot as overlapping others as well, but through null. Okay. So again, we have I don't think we changed the implementation too much. Add time slot. Yeah, add time slot test. So these two pass, but this check to go times, but through null. So our command, our function here is not throwing the correct thing. Exception time slot overlapping. That's overlap. Oh, but through null. Okay, so it didn't throw. We must have screwed up something here. I think our test data got screwed up. Because we went from 10 o'clock till 11, but that should overlap with the previous one. That is correct. So we must have had an issue here with the has overlap equals whatever new start is less than existing ends. Has overlap or exception not overlapping. So we're not hitting this. That's interesting. So let me see our test runner here. Something going on with test runner for failures. So we can do this. is success of a command. This is the exception. So here, run with expected error. Assert, but through null. So our result is null. So this run with expected error. Slice test function. We should have another assert here. Result on should throw. Didn't. Should throw. So yeah, this should say overlapping tensors should be rejected due to should throw. Okay. That's good. So the question is, how do we screw up our logic here? Our tab completes. Regret doing it. Uh, lots of those. God, way too many. I can't wait to get rid of all of this. Way too much stuff. State view. So we still have this time slot overlapping issue. Okay, so start time. That's easy. So we're going through. Okay, I can sort of see where the problem might arise. We're just checking the values here, but this exception can be thrown if we filter these out, and that's it. We did not get types. So I'm wondering if there's a better way to do the types. That should really fix it. Yeah, so we have 18 passing now, so I think we should be done with this. Yeah, the overlapping. Yeah. Just this event word, right? Really be on the lookout for it. Basically the problem was is that we weren't filtering on the right thing, so it wasn't picking up any events to add to the collection. So of course it wouldn't throw anything. We never hit any of these. We never hit any of these rechecks. I don't actually know if this is a correct history here. I don't know if this is a good way to do it, but I guess it's fine. I think, yeah, new start, new end. Yeah, so that kind of does it. Because that means the new start is before the new end. What about if the new start is before the new end? Yeah, I think we're missing one thing. So if we have an overlap the other way, I think we're missing that. So we need to do that. And that for the new so new start less than existing end. So it's new end greater than the existing start. But that's, I don't think this is correct. So we have a number of ways that things overlap. And not a correct way to test it. I don't. So I mean, can we make that first one pass? If the new start is less than the existing end, yes, that means it's middle. Start is in the middle. New end is greater than the existing start, which doesn't really make sense. The new end bigger than the existing start, but that doesn't make sense. I'd rather be a little bit more explicit about this. So if the new start is less than the existing, I forget how we came to this logic that this was already okay. So if the new start is doesn't make sense. It's gotta have a whole bunch of the new start is less than the existing. You know what? No, that's the pass. Not. So we need the new start to be in between the existing start and end. New start must be less than the existing end. Start greater than the existing start. Or the new end must be greater than the existing start. New end be no. New start must be less than so new start is less existing start. And the new end, no, the new start is new end greater than okay. That means we're overlapping on the beginning side and even the other side, but who cares? And the other just in the end. That's correct. Or God, draw a picture to just delete new one. Old. So the new start must be less than the existing start, and the new end must be greater than the existing start. Yes. This, the new start less than the existing end. The end greater than. But that's not true. That just I guess in this case we could throw in some tests. But the overlapping structure, I think I just threw this to AI. We can test them by, copying this because we have an overlap at the beginning of this going into this first session. But we can also have a couple more tests that would this probably was okay. I think ChatGPT came up with this, working. And so the second one, we want to have an overlap on the last time slot that we have, which was correct, which was this event, 10:30 to 11:30. So now we have 11 to 12. That should fail. But we should also fail one that's completely within one of those. So we can do a one that is 10:45 to 11:10. 11 to 12, 10 to 11. We need one that's 10:45 to 11:10, I think, right? That'll fit. Okay, so these are the ones that are successful. These events means that that's the state. So we do have a time slot that's 10:30 and 11:25. So 10:45, 11:10 would be that. So this should test that. And yeah, so if we have a okay, I think I have an answer. I think we need another one. So let's go back to what this was. Can I float over this and see what the old, so I want this old stuff here. Revert this change. So that is the old logic. And let's see if these tests still run. S20. Yeah, it's rejecting all of them. So I think what I did is I had ChatGPT do this, and I think I remember, yeah, I can't remember which stream this was on, but I remember that this was a comprehensive test for this. That actually boils down when you take all of the possibilities for when the start and end times on these things happen. It captures all of those things. It's really weird that we actually capture those. Anyway, it's nice that kind of nice mathematically how simple some things are. Unless I'm wrong and I'm missing something here, but yeah, it seems to be a very simple check. So very cool. Smaller code that works. Just for those unit testing and TDD fans, we now have extra tests in here to show those weird overlaps, right? So, so we could say that times would be rejected. Overlapping at the beginning, right, at the end. And this one should be at the right, and overlapping time slot entirely. And so now we see this purpose. Really nice way to say what's going on. Quite like that. So if you're doing testing, I think these things now tell you exactly you're catching here, which is good. I just noticed how simple the testing is with event sourcing. So I think we're done with that. Now we can get into these crazy slot stuff. So we're going to have a little bit more work to simplify the processors, but I think we just only have one. I don't think there'll be a lot of work until we get to some more automation, and then we can find some better patterns for the infrastructure to support it. Again, we have this, which is going to cause issues. And again, that's fine. That's our history for the time slots. We're just mapping this, which is really bad. Although it's a fine implementation, we've kind of wanted this to be a reducer, right? So use reducer, I guess, instead. Since we're using a reducer everywhere else, edit, use a reducer. Yeah, that's good. Wait a second. Why is this return? Oh, let's see here. Yeah, bring the whole reduce. Again, so silly. The size is just property setters. And again, I don't know if your way. Just grab everything from the event. Well, let's get it to I think that's okay. We could play around more with this. I think that's good enough. I know that we can do better here. Um, uh, oh, the meta. Oh, we don't need the meta. Anything there. So that's fine. I think if we read the events, they have a meta thing for type. Oh, and it's erasing it. Right, because we don't need that in there. I mean, it's kind of cleaning it up, which is okay. But it wouldn't hurt to leave it in there. It would simplify the code a little bit. Although then we're leaking that into layer and whatever. Liner now. Good. Yeah, so we're pushing exactly what's in the events and we're deleting what's in meta. So we're just getting the data that we want. Beautiful. We can even get rid of the braces because that's just one push. It. That looks a lot more concise and nice. All right. I don't know if you can omit the request. This might bite me in the butt. This underscore R, because when you have request and result in the same thing, problem. Anyway, should be a fast fix if we ever do that. Continue. Yeah, this is obviously not how we do things. We do host is going to be conf ID is going to be HTTP, right? No. No. Going to change state. And it doesn't have anything? Can it just be nothing? Yeah, it has nothing, right? So, interesting. We don't do any of that stuff. Cool. Okay. Becomes shorter. Get rid of things in here. This is great. Right. Good. So we have test. Hmm? See if we get a lot more passing still. We have 19 passing. Yeah, because we added these. Yeah, all this type stuff. So let's just fix the type stuff. Obviously we don't need this. And the interesting thing here is that we only have the meta here. The marker event. Yeah, we need a command here. If it even needs anything, it's not going to be checked. We ignore it. So it's an empty command. We don't have the type in those commands, right? Yeah, we didn't bother with. We just have the data because we know that it is the corresponding and to the event that we're expecting. So in this case, we know that it's time slot added, that the command is of type add time slot. It's the only. So again, you know, a lot of people in this in event sourcing CQRS community will disagree with me about doing it this way, but I think that it's not too much of a burden to make a rule that commands result in a single event. It can be multiple types that that event can be, but it's just one. And so, yeah, it's quite interesting. We get quite a lot of guidance here for what should happen. So, you know, this should now pass, even though that this is, even though that this is a total blank object. And yeah, we got another pass. So this one is just totally fine. Even if the command is undefined, we need the command. We need something here. I think a null would still pass. Yes, because it's not undefined. But it shows that because we don't pay attention to command data, it's just a trigger. It can literally be a null. I think I'll leave it in there just to let people see, you know, the difference here with what's happening when we do these things. So let's. It's getting a little bit late, but I do want to get. I think we're making good progress here. So this is definitely not cool. This should have the expected. Why did it do that? I guess because it does have that. Okay, so in this case, we're going to have an empty object. No, it's just going to have, yeah, it's a request, which has no data. So this is actually a good test to see if our purpose is going to work. First of all, let's see if that next change still works. Yes, 21 passed. So now we have both of these. Now let's switch to the purpose. So where we have our special name here for this. Go out of here. Try it again. Should still pass. Yes, it does. So this is an interesting pattern in, I use the term pattern loosely. It's an interesting observation here that we have, how do we have commands with no data? It certainly is interesting. And in this particular application, we can only have one conference going on at the same time. So a lot of the things are singular. The event coordinator, the organizer, is starting a new conference. They're opening up the registration. These are single events. Their their presence the um, on the stream of all events is enough to change the system to do the next thing. There is no data that's necessary at all. It's an interesting. I guess you'll find these in a lot of places. Now, there will be other things, other properties that might get picked up at a higher level when maybe you're dealing with multi-tenancy and you want to have, some logical filtering a layer above this. But wouldn't it be nice to support multi-tenancy and still have these tests in the same format? So that's one of the amazing things about event sourcing, that you can just keep decorating these things, putting them in envelopes to have kind of the addresses of where they live, and have something that's entirely non-business related route those to where they live, and keep your business logic this simple. So this might be, a very interesting exercise for us to continue to explore as we build layers and layers of infrastructure on top of this simple application to make it, incredibly powerful. So I hope that helps you in some way think of all these things. I'm just gonna double check whether my stream is still active. Sometimes I don't know if it is. Where did that go? Okay. Where did my monitoring go? My YouTube feed. That is very strange. My YouTube has disappeared from my phone. I can't monitor what I'm doing. Funny. That is very odd. Oh, I see. So because I was streaming so long today, it just kind of shuts itself off. You've been watching YouTube all day long. Well, I've just been monitoring my own feed to make sure it's alive. So okay, I thought the feed went down. All right, so hopefully none of that was lost, and it is still actually going. But yeah, this is very cool. So now we have an exception test here. We have this, and of course we should now know that this yeah, this should also, oh, okay, I don't like the fact that it lost the fact that we want to have spaces in there. And wait a second, did it change? Okay, yes. Uh, okay, that looks good. And therefore all of this stuff should go away. quite an interesting test. So for all of you out there that don't think I've done enough unit testing, believe me, I have. EDD and everything else. Yeah, I don't want this other, actually, there is no purpose in this. This is a bad autocomplete. So this is a conference generated event that we have here. Simulate that there's already a conference on the way, and then when we request another unique identifier, that means we're making another conference after this one. So this might change to require a conference to have been closed, because I'm not sure what effects that'll have on the, if you have overlapping conferences, but hopefully nothing. Really, I don't want you to getting rid of all of these timestamps. And then, of course, we're moving the type to be within meta field at the end here, comma, and then meta. We have the type. And stop adding. See, yeah, this sometimes the code generation is not the best. I need to have that pre-prompt that once we get to this point, see, I do not want a command here. Maybe that's, maybe null is too close to how other languages work, because undefined and null are different in JavaScript. So, having an empty object here would have been better. Shouldn't really make a difference, of course. Oh, it does. Interesting. I have a failure here now. Why is null? Interesting. It should work no matter what we put in the command here. Because we have this thing being run with whatever this is being passed in. This is not even referenced anywhere. So why would it make a difference whether this command, it has to do something with the test runner? Are we inspecting anything for the command in here? Or we check for an exception? It has a checkpoint command. Exception. Very odd. Not too sure why it's difference of behavior here. Maybe that's something to investigate for another day. Why is null okay? Why is null okay? The requesting is run error when try that again. Oh, could have read it a little. Oh no, that's not it. So it did not throw. And I should have renamed that to not throw an error. I did not throw an error. Exception. Right. So let's go back and see the logic of why the heck not throw an error, because that's in. Oh, that's interesting. We have an event where we need the meta type. So why? Yeah. Okay. So it threw a different error, or no, it didn't, because it didn't find anything. So okay, that's correct. That is expected behavior. Because we had this wrong. It wasn't finding the previous event in our history. Therefore, didn't throw, because it had thing in history. So it's okay to request something. Good. So now that that's done, now it shouldn't matter. I can back to null and it won't matter at all. Although, quite interesting that that made a difference. Wondering why that kicked that off. Still 21. Still working up to that point. Yeah. Hmm. So let's continue on. Let's make it work. That's a setup that we have for seeing that the next one works. Again, this. Meta. That command is null. I guess that's too much changed. Request a unique ID when, okay, I want the same name of what that was. Stop this. I will do a purpose first. Request English. That's actually bad. Request ID. Created. Seems like a little bit of an implement. It's not really an implement. Anyway, yeah, this needs to have the structure, and I think it should be okay this way. We have 22 now, so we should, yeah, you should have all of these happy paths for the request unique ID. Good. And yeah, I think quite a lot of cleanup. I guess we had a lot of code here, but it's worth it because what we're having is what we're getting from this is a nice, concise convention, and it came out of actually writing the application and doing the minimal amount. So also having smaller amounts of code for every business rule that you want to implement is going to use fewer tokens for your AI, and all that. Context windows that you need will be much smaller to get what you want. So definitely, concise ways of expressing what you need. Even there might be a case for even removing some of this layering just to save even more space. And I guess when you're thinking about context, the greatest thing that AI kind of forced us to do is really understand our cognitive load and how much information we're faced with. So while it does a lot for us, those that have to make it work further, we need to be very conscious about how much context we're giving. And I think right now we're in the early adopter hype cycle where we just throw giant, projects at it, and we're just happy when things work. But the quality of that solution is quite low because it is the sum of the average, the approaches and patterns out there, and so you don't get a really good cadence. And that's why generally when you keep using AI without this enforced structure, it will make your life really hard very quickly. It does not scale simply. It doesn't have the context to scale. You have to have multiple agents to have very special instructions, and this is what we're trying to do with event modeling, is to give that structure that is a much better interface between AI and humans. So I think that's what we're doing here. So let's continue on. Again, I have the requests are here, and I have this this state view, which should be used here. So we usually have this up higher. So I want to continue to have that convention of keeping the initial call higher than the function it's going to call later. So you're kind of you're able to dive in just by scrolling further down. I don't want you to have to move up and down in weird directions. If the only reason I'm keeping readability as something that I want here is because the learning, we're learning an entirely different concept. I don't really care about the readability within, let's say, something like this. All I know is that I'm getting, a collection here at the end, a model that jumps out, right? And again, there I'm extracting the actual to-dos. So I'm really interested in this. This thing here is really helper in the accumulator to make my business decisions in here. But I really am extracting this here. All of this stuff, I don't care. These slices are meant to be replaceable. If you do have a test suite here, that's how those test suites are looking more and better now, where we really understand the sequence of events and even exceptions that are thrown in based on what commands throw in. Again, here, because we're doing a request unique ID, that's all the command actually is not important because it doesn't contain any data. It's just a trigger. That's why null works, or an empty. I think null might actually be a bad thing. Might give the wrong idea to people. So I think having this will be better. Just also null is something we haven't used anywhere else in here, so it's going to be jarring. Here we know that we don't care about the data. There is a command, but it's really a conceptual command where it's putting a stake in the ground that we got to this, therefore generated the conference. And that's it for that. So we still, yeah, this still works. It's still good. And we still have, actually, we don't have too many tests, so we should be able to blaze through the rest of this pretty quickly. We have this that has to be wrapped again and get state via events, right? And that removes our call to get the events, that call to get the events from here, because we always do that here. Again, the test runner does something else. It doesn't get the events from disk, it gets them from, you know, the what it builds up from go through these checkpoints. It gets these. So that's why this works so well. I'm just going to save a few characters. I don't know if I could have done this, but it is what it is now. I'm just kind of making it a one-liner because these are dumb. I really don't want all this to in the way. So I really want them to be squeezed onto one line. I'm really not using the AI. Actually, we can actually see it. Oh yeah, I have this. I have a one-liner. I don't really want to comment on it. Bit of so that's done. I should probably just squeeze down these large test suites so quickly scroll through where we are. I wish this Visual Studio Code add-in had a collapse all to top level, because we have a really nice layout here in terms of the functions, and let's expand to wherever you want. Yeah. So that's good. Streaming here, just want to see. I don't even know. Probably an hour or two. So, but I do want to get through this. Like I said, I want to finish this application. I think we're getting some, you know, some really good conventions for testing. I think that fundamentally unit testing has to be different for event sourcing, and a much better, you know, way more guidance. I think people learning even TDD with using event sourcing would have a much easier time. Just the amount of crap that you don't have to put up with. There's not a single dependency injection here at all. You're just using fake events, just data. It's just another ETO, that type of thing. So it's very easy to grasp. There's no language or framework, you know, bells and whistles and unique features to a language that we're trying to take advantage of here. You know, we do have, we do take advantage of some of the things that JavaScript affords. And I think you'll do the same if you're doing Golang or something else. You know, like the triple dot event and then, you know, removing a property. You know, probably not as easy in another language, but you can probably find other ways where this is kind of tedious and you could do something better in, maybe lean on a compiler a lot more in a statically typed language. You don't have to, you know, run the tests all the time. It'll just be, not that the tests take a long time to run here. They're all unit tests. They're all not taking any time to set up any database. They're all, you know, executing within microseconds. Not too worried about that. Faster than compiling, maybe, in some cases. But anyway, let's keep going. And if you have any questions about this approach, read the bottom scrolling behind me, and join the community to kind of ask questions about everyone else that's doing development. So you really have no questions as to, you know, how you're going to tackle the next requirement. Have a set of steps that's really similar. So let's keep going here. So we get the state view here. That's fine. We have a reducer. So I think this is when we started to use our reducers more, which is good. That's good. And then generate. Okay, so I think we were in the middle of doing this and I don't need the rest of this. So the 500, this catch and all that, the pushing of the events. I didn't really want that to be exposed at this HTTP level of code, which is good. Change state via HTTP or within HTTP. I forget that I hate that method name. So if you have a better method name for that change state and get state through HTTP, let me know what you think would be better. I'll probably come up with myself eventually, but okay, so yeah, that's good. I'm so don't like wasting real estate. I sorry to everyone that hates size code, but this really reads like a sentence to me. I want it in one line. You know, I changed the state for requesting a unique ID, redirect to the join conference. That's it. That's all I want. I don't want 5 lines to explain that. There is no if statements even here. All of our exception handling is in here. It's somewhere up there, but because we have such a formulaic way of developing, it always works for everything. That's the nicest things that we have. So request unique ID. Why is this here? Add time slot. Okay, sorry, I think we just went up a bit. We finished all it. ID. Unique ID requested. Okay, so that's good. Tested all this. That's the test for that. So we keep going. Down here we have the to-do list. To-do list looks like. This is what our processors work off of. So yeah, and the next option to test, right? That's fine. The test to match this here. And of course good. It's only suggesting that we don't have the event name here. That, and by default, yes, the state is empty. We will probably, yeah, have this problem of these not needing to be here because we extract them. So I know that that's what happened before because that's the way I coded them. So I should be returned this. Yes, correct. So that should be it for this test. Get rid of the event that caught us before, right? We have the meta type here. Get rid of. The first one probably would have passed because there are no events. Oh, there is one. Oh, sorry, the previous, there's the implied previous step. There's nothing here. So for the expected state is always the previous row, the previous checkpoint. All checkpoints above you, any events in there, that's your history. In this case, there's nothing. So we expect this to be nothing. So this event is really for the purpose of populating the state here, right? And here it's an empty, something says that's not done. I request something, it puts a conference ID with blank, meaning, hey, I don't have anything. Processor, go get me that ID. Hey, Oxmabi, I'm making a registration application. That kind of works. Well, might as well take a little break to look at what it's supposed to look like. It runs, but we're just refactoring or cleaning up the code for it. So the application is really about setting up a conference, an unconference, showing some automation, how you would call an external service or an internal service, how you'd coordinate all that. And then the participants can scan a QR code, join the conference, then register for it, then suggest topics for the conference, screens to suggest the topics. Then everyone will end up voting on the topics eventually. So these participants end up voting here. They want to see, and organizers will basically make a schedule for like when each talk is at what time in what room, and that's it. That's really what it is. So we've been playing around with a bit of a design here for how you do this with simple HTTP requests instead of a single page app that has a lot of JavaScript. But we could always make 2 implementations. If there's no JavaScript, we default to the form submission with checkboxes or radio buttons, and otherwise we can do drag and drop if we have JavaScript enabled. So that's what the application does. And here we're really checking the business logic here with automated tests, but it's all event sourced. And so everything is stored on disk, increasing the events bit by bit. So our entire state is in this event stream directory. That's it. That's all we need to make this whole application work. There's no database, nothing. It'll work incredibly fast. And it'll scale to any level. So that's what we're making. Thanks for asking. I totally forget that there's entirely new people watching this this stream. So yeah, you can follow the links, get the book on the subject. So if you want to find out how to do this, read up on the stuff that's passing by below me. So like behind me, the little marquee. If you want to see the code, I'm going to push some of this at the end. I think I want to just keep going until I finish rewriting all these tests. I want this to be finished tonight. So if you're up for it to stay up and watch, maybe your time zone permits you to watch, that's great. But I should be here another half hour, I think. I'm going to call it quits as long as I get the tests running and all that, and then come back tomorrow to fix up a few more things. And yeah, so thanks for joining. If you have questions, go ahead, join the Discord, or just comment on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. I can ask more. So thanks for asking about what I'm making. Hope that explained it a little bit. Definitely jump in and look at the code and the comments and kind of the structure that we have there. Should give you some ideas of how this works. And this cursor is just giving me a little bit too much. It makes up a few mistakes when it tries to. I don't like that it's showing me you. Is it giving me empty conf ID should be added on request? Purpose empty conf ID should be added. Okay, so I guess it's fine here. And whoa, it's really asking to do too much. So it did that, but then it's got these remnants here, which I can't stand how it does that. So that should be okay. We should have more tests now. We need to, where are we failing at here? Oh, conf ID should be equal. So we have a problem here that we are not getting this conf ID. We have an empty. So we actually have a problem with this working. So, oh, I see. We have the word event. Need to get rid of these. Thought I got rid of them all, but yeah, we didn't get them on here. The switch case on the type, so that should work. So yeah, now we have more tests passed. we're down to these last two here. So continue on. This, of course, passes. But we need to unwrap this because, again, here. Oh, actually, I'm not sure if we have to unwrap it. Not in this case. I think this structure is fine. Get rid of the timestamp. It's interesting that we have some other event in here. And it just shows that we're filtering properly. Which is okay. I mean, kind of a benign test, really. Yeah, this shouldn't be one. So this actually was a bad test. This actually should have a state to-dos length and result use length. That should still work. And of course this should be, so that's one of the things that we wanted to refactor out when we didn't get, yeah, this should still pass. But that's the way this whole thing should have looked before. And it's not, which is not good. Reading of undefined. Okay, so the result is, what do we get as a result? Oh, we get the actual to-dos. So we don't need, I don't know why we have that for the state. But here we don't need that. I think that should make it pass again. 23, 24, yeah, that made it pass. Again, that's just my silliness. And in fact, now when we look at this, if it's passing the actual to-dos here, our state shouldn't have that because our convention for our generic test runner to compare these as realized JSON objects will not have this wrapper. It will just have this. So when I do purpose, again, purpose is just an explanation of what we're aiming to do with this test. And I don't know if that's a good name, but I really don't care at this point. Help explain concepts. First mark is fine, so that should still work. So we should still have the same amount of tests passing, yes, but now it's actually using this. Notice that we unwrap this because now we're true to form of what we're getting here. I'm making some crazy assumptions in here. And we're getting rid of timestamps because we're just relying on the order of events that are stored. That's, I think there's a lot of paranoia in event sourcing implementations where you're really double checking against timestamps, especially if you're a beginner. So that generally permeates a lot of code bases, and I've even been affected by it. It belongs in the meta level. So let's move this to the meta level information here. Again, I want to just view this, view what this is going to look like. I think that's the only case. I don't know what else it's trying to do. I don't know how far I can scroll if it's hidden any other crap in here. So that's I don't know about this view. I'm kind of worried that it actually caused issues with the previous editing, where we may have had some other things changed. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It wasn't my fault. So yeah, let's accept that. I think the thing that I'm looking for is that it uses the same sentence that the function is called. Like we're using when we were making an explicit test function, we named it kind of like a sentence explaining what it does and use that as the description in the test runner. But now we just have to replace that with a purpose because we don't need a function defined each time. We have a generic function that does this over and over again. Let's do that. And of course, we don't need the rest of the guts of this. Oh, well, it's a automatic runner. So oh, because we didn't unwrap this. Oh, we did unwrap it. What is the error? Oh, reading type. Again, this, oh yeah, we problem here. We didn't set this up properly. A meta type. Of course, we kind of want to move this over to the end of these things. That way, yeah. So testing a process potent. Oh yeah, so we are on, which is the one that's processor is item potent. So this one's passing. Which is good. Again, we gotta keep trucking and get through this. This is interesting. We really don't need the word conf ID, I guess. It'll be just a array of string, but whatever. It's the implementation here. So again, unwrap. Get rid of the to-do wrapping here. And this is the last test in this timeline. So there's no point in having an event here because there's no subsequent checkpoint. Would act as a test. So now we can, I'm kind of just assuming it's calling them what they need to be called. Better or worse, I'm trusting now. Keep going, get rid of the time. We have a meta thing here. Yep. Let's be bold and say, sure, do what you want here. Double check that word event is not here and that we get a few more tests passing. Yeah, 27. Get rid of the and it gets rid of the event. So actually it does quite a good job. It gets rid of the underscore event at the end. I'm actually, whoa, that's scary. That was a little too much. Control Z. What the hell did it? Yeah, a little bit freaky. So let's do the thing one at a time here. Hopefully it's going to. It's trying to do way too much. This is crazy. I don't want that much change here. I want again, to unwrap this. I would love for this thing to not do all of that. Out of there. Sometimes it does the right amount. Sometimes it does too much. Makes some assumptions that you really need to watch what it's doing. And so, you know, this over here, out here. Yep, got that done. And now I like this because we just have one thing that puts the purpose thing in here, which replaces just the name of the test. Correct. Yeah, we should be good to go for more tests passing. 28. We're down to, yeah, just the last two here. A new timeline. Checkpoints. Yep, we got type here. We get rid of temp. Deleting a lot of code. I'd like to actually add some comments into the code for learning purposes, and mostly really about AI purposes. Like I'm not even trying to teach people at this point. It's teaching the AI to do the right thing. Just wait until we get to generating the actual event model in this similar way. Because what I'm doing here for code, we can do the same thing with actual diagrams. A lot of interesting stuff that can happen. Why did that disappear? Very strange. What did it do? Oh, that just blinked. I don't like that this disappeared. Why are we not referencing that? Oh, because of this. I'm not there somewhere. I have an error somewhere here, but tests are still passing. So fail. Provide unique ID command should be added. Which one are we on here? A duplicate provision of an ID will be ignored. A duplicate provision ID will be ignored. Okay, so that's fine. So that's that. And then we have a timeline. That's the last thing. That's this one here. So yeah, we're well into the next set of tests. But so this is the processor, which is interesting. It is, I don't know whether this actually should have any idea of the HTTP stuff. Probably doesn't. It runs in its own thread when we have it on async, but it runs in the web request thread when we have it in the sync mode. So that's something that we'll have to come back to. That is interesting. But it is just calling this generate unique ID. I think we really need to keep this as a infrastructure level call, not a web call. Yeah. This is really an infrastructure implementation detail type of question. We'll have to visit again. I'm going to leave this alone. I'm going to get rid of anything to do with timestamp. I'm just going to look through any references to events. That is a variable, which is fine. Can do all this. Provide a unique ID, push event, conf event is that. And it actually does need the meta. No, sorry, so provide. This is the one that is doing the heavy lifting here. So we have tests here. And we will have exceptions here, I believe. Yeah, so this is going to be, we spent a long time explaining processors when we were live streaming how this got implemented. So the generated event comes out here and all that. We don't really have really good exception handling here. It's definitely code we could work on to kind of be a better structure for all future functions. As we make more processors, I think we'll come back to this future sprints. So let's take a look at, first of all, get rid of the event. That's not part of our convention more. They see them there. That. Don't want the, we don't want the timestamp. There's no we have timestamp done twice. That must have been comma meta. That. Good. And then events, da da da, and that's meta type. That into collection. And here, event. Row new. And of course, this has to be using the const here. Error not found. And we want this as new. That was kind of good. I think we're okay. The tests will tell us whether we're okay. First thing we do is exactly what we will be testing here, which is good. So that's the first part taken care of. Again, we got excessive amount of white space. Maybe I'll do another pass through this just to clean that up. Progress marker, those are our labels for our tests. Exception, we don't need the types in commands. I think we skipped straight. So actually this is one of our earlier implementations because we skipped almost immediately to the processors. People had a lot of questions about how to implement processors. So we went here pretty quickly. So this will be kind of really old code that we did. Although we already had the good convention here for doing this, even though we call it event history. Nice thing is we don't have to redo any of that. We have now our generic test runner that'll pick that up just from the name of this purpose. I guess, I don't know. Okay, so I want this to be the name of the function, provide. Why is it not giving me? I gotta run local models because I think some of these, it's it wanting me to do? It wants me to get rid of all that. Sure. But to what? It just wants me to delete it, and it's not going to give me the purpose. It should have known from the previous lines that I work like that. So provide unique. Oh, I see. I have space. Provide unique. Provide unique ID command should throw when no request. Provide unique ID. Okay. When no request. This almost got it. I think it screwed it up a bit, but I don't care. At this point, I don't care. That. All right. The next thing it wants to do is just to correct that, which is good. This, of course, we like. And I think this looks good because it's going to get rid of everything we want. So it does know that. And then right unique ID command should be added when requested. Okay, good. So I think it did learn what I wanted. Again, needed to be reminded. Oops. Back here, tab. This is really, yeah, this is quite good. Doing exactly what I want. And excellent. Here. Will it give me what I want? Provide unique ID command should throw when the request exists. Okay, I think it got it. So yeah, we just have an exception that we want to test for. Here we're testing for event. So this should be correct. Let's see how well it did. 30. Okay, so it did rifle through those, and the last test here that we had was writing it should throw when no request exists. Yep, perfect. And on to the next one. So here we want to say, yeah, exactly. Get. Oh no, it's not correct. Get state via HTTP, and we want to do this manually because I don't want it to get rid of that. I still don't want this 1, 2, 3. Why it's there, but I don't want to lose that functionality. I probably don't need it, but whatever. Shorten all that up. We still have, I really want this test runner to work quite well. The last thing we need to do is really just I don't know whether I should keep the part of the test harness that allows you to have ad hoc testing. I kind of don't. I really want people to use events and state views to express themselves. So I think I'm going to gut the test runner so that we don't have this part here. It's a nice interface. But I'd rather have it do the complex logic. I might just extract some methods here to make this a little more readable, so for educational purposes. but really we've pushed the test harness complexity out of the specifications. And so the specifications are really now specification by example, BDD, as interpreted through events. So I don't know. It's getting a little late. I probably will finish streaming and just do this another day because well, we got through a lot of stuff. It is taking a little bit longer to explain all the concepts as I go and do the work. Reasoning for deleting white space again is, first of all, we are dealing with quite a large file, and I really want the file to read like the event model reads, from left to right. You go top to bottom here, so you kind of understand what's going on. Oh, there's that null. Yuck. Remember, I didn't like the null. Probably would be nice to redo this part. Actually, not have that null. Then we have event problem here. Which is good. Register, we have render register conference name, and over here we want okay, very good. That wants the name at the end there. No, it wasn't. So don't assume that it needs that. That's gonna cause issue. Okay. Oh. Could collapse these tests that are already. Yeah, but it doesn't need the name. Why is it doing that? Should get the name right there. Hallucinating. ID, yeah, we could just not have that in here at all. Here. That would be good. We can delete a lot of this stuff because it's a one-liner. And here we actually have a problem because we both need the request and all this request and this object. Unfortunately, we can't shorten this, but that's okay. And here we get to some a little bit of a more complex things where we have forms again, request response at the same time we have the command. We have set state via HTTP. We just do that, and that gets rid of all this 422 and 5. Okay, so 422 is what we want actually. So that's what I was looking for. Is like I knew that we had some different type of error code that we were using for good reason. I don't know what 422 is, but told it's good. Probably not, but whatever. And we have 404. Yeah, that's getting into all the not found stuff because that's what the business logic translates to. I don't want to complicate things. I forget what 422 is. Maybe it's something that shouldn't have changed. We're not nowhere near here yet. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think we'll get through a lot of like everything here. This is quite a lot of work to review, but that null is annoying. This is where I wanted to kind of maybe we'll end things here and get some sleep in tomorrow. So all of this catching errors, pushing events, and catching this error is not needed because that's all done in that set state via HTTP, including handling the event. So we do that. The registration ID is generated here. This is kind of a slightly bad implementation because we don't, even though I know we have it here, we kind of want it from the resulting event from a state view in case there is some logic, but I'll let it pass for this. Where I don't know why this is. We have all of these things here. The register command, we can just, first of all, we don't need a type. We don't need the type. Glad all those characters for the timestamp stuff is gone. That's the best thing that AI will get tripped up on going forward with this. Conference ID, registration ID. Sure, I don't know why we just called it ID. Yeah. Unlike the other parts, we are just calling the UUID and the orchestration here instead of having a processor do it. The reason we did a processor is just how processors worked. So if you're wondering why this is here outside of the processor, it's because we don't care at this point. We already showed how that's done. You could definitely make another processor to make these IDs as well if you want. But that's about it for this. So we can grab that and shove it in here. This. For this. And of course, if there's an error, we'll never get redirected here. The set state via HTTP will redirect us to a nice error page and there. So that is that. Do we have any other problems here? We do. Of course, I think tomorrow we'll be more rested and we'll be able to catch a lot more of these errors here. Are hiding with the amount of editing that we did. Yeah, there's another close registration command which just shows you again that you're not doing anything. We have 10. Don't, okay, but anyway, we quickly implemented this. So yeah, we can set state close registration, yeah. Redirect session, and then yeah, we don't need any of the other things. As simple as that. So we didn't have a chance to really clean stuff up. So yeah. Again, another one of these liners. Really, really nice. Very tiny amount of amount of text. Getting really. Remember those comments at the end here is to disambiguate just hanging closing parentheses and braces. So when we make it into one-liner, that actually gets rid of more text as well. So here we know that if we go to post close registration, we know that we're just making the state change and redirecting. That's it. All the errors will be handled here by this function. So yeah, 4 people. So thanks for sticking around. If you have questions, feel free, fire away. Likewise here we have the state, getting the state view. And I'm not sure if we can, yeah, that's just from the state. So we don't need any of this other stuff, instead, especially the console logs again. So here we can do get state view that and get events, which is good. That means we don't need. We do kind of want to see. So this is registration success. This is where we start passing in the registration ID to kind of pass it along in the URL. I know it's not secure, but just so that we see when we're demoing this, see things in the URL, easier to show the concepts. But it is the first time that we're kind of getting into some validation before we continue. I'm not sure if that did it correctly here. Right, registered name, registrations, that's that. Conference name, registration SV conference name. So yeah, it's kind of, this part is being used here and here. Here. Get rid of the logs. Just like throw these at this. The registration ID is we have the conference ID, conference name, and registrations. So registrations is a map. And we just want the registration ID. So I don't want this actually. I do want to handle this around here. So that is correct. Because now I don't have to worry about that. I mean, I do want to have this name in here as this line this. It's fine. That gets rid of this. I kind of know what I'm using. I definitely want this as a We want next here. Return. Next. Oh, that one. So this is where we need some more control of the flow of the web level. So yeah, we have return next and error, right? Status. I think that's how we do it. Yeah, I think that's I really don't know if that's, let's just look at this change. So to have this registration name is just get this, and that's fine. It's not found. 404. I don't know if the 404 is the right thing. It's not a page that's found. I don't like that error code. I don't want that error handler for pages not found be invoked. So I think I'm going to get rid of the 404 here. Use our 422. Probably a better code, but I don't really care at the registration ID is get up there. Actually longer than addressing it from here, but whatever. I think that should do it. That is kind of complex. We are catching the most important thing in terms of our errors for catching events and calculating what the view should be, which is good. And then, of course, the results of that, they have their own of business logic to see if we can actually make a lookup based on this to see if we have rights to the page, essentially. So again, this will not work if we have these events at the end here. And we have meta type, which is good. So that does work. Events registration and accumulator works. Fine. And we want this new error better. Doing on the meta type, we're getting rid of event. I don't know if I have the ordering of this done properly. This is registered change. Register state change. That's interesting. Forget what that's for. Okay, that's where we're resetting stuff. Correct. We have a new set here. good. So, and this checks all of this. And of course, why are we throwing new errors like that? Error closed. We already have an error. So that's actually good because we have right, and then we return yeah, we have that. And of course, we meta. No, we want type registered, and that means we need it here. We're guessing what to do. Here we need the summary. I haven't used in a while. I should go see. I don't want that. I say again the conference ID. I kind of don't want because we know we're only doing one at a time, but it's in here. We're gonna put in the name. I think we're just gonna lump it together. So name plus and name. Registration. Something like I think we have a comma. We're making our fake event. That's it. And yeah, that looks good. So yeah, I think it's late enough for me to call it a night and finish this. I will push this up, even though I know probably have. Well, we're passing a lot more tests here. We really only have these to finish up for tests, but I've also been correcting some of the other things along the way here. I do want to make some more search replaces for names, all that. Yeah, this all of this stuff will totally shrink quite nicely tomorrow. What else is right along? Close registration, submit session, the topics list. I think that's it. Then we get another test runners. We don't have a lot to push through, but really it's getting way too late. We gotta get a bit. Thanks for sticking around. If you were curious to see what this stuff is. You know, we really are working on this one file now, which is kind of nice. Just check it into the whip here so you can look at it if you want. Check it into main just in case. I should have been doing more commits, I know, but we're just really slogging through. Mostly syntax optimization, not really any. It'll be a lot more fun to work on the next slices as we're going to have way less to type. You can see much better examples for AI to learn from to really help us along on this. So again, thanks for sticking around if you're watching. I see quite a few viewers here, so thanks. See you on the Discord. Try out event sourcing, event modeling, and buy Martin's book to know how to do it. And we'll see you next time. So let's get add all status. Git commit. Fixed a lot. S used generic test runner. All right, I think that's it. Git push. Maybe I'll do one more thing. Git checkout. main. And then here I'm just going to get merge whip that as well. Check out where we were before, and just continue on tomorrow from here. So really excited to get this into some nice, better format. That's I think it's less verbose, less noise in the code to be able to understand, and I think that's going to help us create some much better AI help from AI that's going to well trained on how to do this. It's still trying to do too much. I think maybe Sonnet's 3.7 is a little too smart. I'd like to see if we switch it to some other model, if we're gonna get it not think it's so smart. Anyway, let me know what you think if you have any questions. Thanks again for joining. See you guys tomorrow.